We have this amazing opportunity to provide post-secondary education and training options for students with intellectual disabilities. This population has historically not been part of that conversation and have not had these opportunities. The 2008 reauthorization of the Higher Education Opportunity Act paved the way for college-based options for students with intellectual disabilities. No longer can we say that only certain populations have the right to a higher education. Today's jobs require a more highly skilled workforce. All students exiting the K-12 system need the opportunity to continue learning, expanding their skill set, building their social networks, and beginning to see themselves as lifelong learners. College is a natural environment to do all those things. Students with intellectual disabilities are no different from their peers in that they benefit from the chance to meet new people, gain new skills, and take risks in a stimulating adult learning environment. We all learn from being exposed to new things and from making mistakes. We trip and we get back up and start over with a new plan and hopefully a better understanding of ourselves and where exactly we're going. It's exciting because less than 50 years ago, students with disabilities still didn't have opportunities to go to school at all. We're at a point in our history where we're realizing on a national level that all of our citizens deserve the right to continue to learn, grow, and contribute to their communities. This is the next civil rights movement. Our communities are strengthened when we include the unique contributions of every member. We all benefit.
Education as, a point of access to, a better life or a better livelihood is, sort of what at least our values espouse that, this country is, founded on. So it's important to, make sure that we open up space for everybody. It's forced me to check some of my assumptions, right, in terms of, what I think students are capable of and what I think students are not capable of. A lot of times we like to appear like we're these perfect beings and like we have it all figured out. But diversity in general, no matter what we're talking about, is a moving target, right? So you're never there. You're always working to, be competent at it or be better at it.
Really all students deserve an education in higher education. Even if they may not choose to use it in a traditional manner, they might be able to go on and get a job in that particular field, but they also might be able to just use it for intellectual purposes.
I mean, I have more friends on the campus than there were at high school, where I only see around with only a group of people and be outcast in my own people. But here on campus, I'm not an outcast. I'm just part of the community.
In class, I talk about it between, the sort of difference between equality, and equity. Equality is sort of this outdated, you treat everybody, the same. Equity is making sure that, everybody has what they need.
Intellectual disabilities is an identity that is a difference and not a deficit. So it's a difference that brings strengths to our community, it diversifies us and makes us stronger.
I think we get used to, in higher education, working with the same population, and I feel like we have a moral obligation to expand our scope of who we're serving through constant invitational services. For me, working with our Chief program and students with intellectual disabilities has really provided this whole new rich pool of students who want to get engaged, are excited to be involved, and really want to make a significant contribution to campus.
He was very nervous about taking the class and wasn't really sure that he would learn anything. What I found was he was so excited as he worked through the material. And after every single quiz, when he would get a good grade, and all of his grades were between 90% and 100%, and after every single quiz, he would come up and he would do a high five to me, and he was just so thrilled with his own progress that became really exciting for me and made me want to help him even that much more. He appeared to care even more about his grades than my traditional students do.
Sue has been a student who's been involved with our programs for about 2 years, and at first she started off kind of as a shy participant, but it became very clear very early on that Sue had a larger vision in mind. Sue started showing up at recruitment fairs for our office, student leadership activities and events. Anytime that we started posting positions, Sue was always the first to take an application and always a student who expressed incredible interest. At first, I think that was kind of a challenging situation because we were thinking, oh gosh, you know, does Sue have the capacity to do this work? But very soon we realized that, you know, what Sue gives with her commitment and with her energy towards our program makes up for anything that she might not have compared to her peers.
It was like what he didn't say or do verbally, he made up for somehow with this sort of, you know, this spirit that draws people, you know, like people like demanded to be in his group. Like I didn't have to, you know, be like, okay, make sure that you work with, you know, this student. You know, students like, can I be, you know, in the group with? I was like, huh. Right? So, you know, it was fascinating in terms of assumptions that we might have about, you know, students willing to work with, you know, other students, that sometimes that's just, you know, our thing, and that, you know, other students really don't, you know, have that, you know, problem or that hang up. But, you know, that was sort of, and it was like that the whole quarter.
I hang up upstairs in building 8. I have one-on-one, one-on-one talk with my sugar as a put up in the CLS. At the CL program, I'm also involved in there. I'm also learning and I'm reaching out. I'm also doing like multiple late night hours. I mean, I'm spending more time getting involved as a leader. I talk with people at the IGC. I use my community, and the community use me.
So the reason I'm really proud of this program is this is a program that has national recognition. Not every college, not every community, in fact, very few communities and very few colleges have a program like this. Have a program where there's a real partnership in the community, a real partnership with school districts, and a sense of making a difference in people's lives with a student population that has in the past not always been supported, and more importantly, has not always been challenged. I mean, the sense of what's possible, sometimes we just don't have high enough expectations as a people. And I think one of the great things about our program is we presume that students can succeed, and our best efforts are to take them way beyond their wildest imagination in terms of what we can do. And I think our hope in a program like Achieve and the transition part of it is that we can partner with school districts very early on so that they see those opportunities in students when they're much younger, because they see an end, a progression with a partnership with the college, and where a student can end up by the time they're 16, 18, 20. And that's in a place that maybe we haven't always had as high expectation of where we might get to. And I think now together we can get there.